Welcome back here with Money, Money, Money. Feroze Azeez of Anand, Rathi Private Wealth Management is our expert this week, and he's discussing travel insurance. So Feroze, we've discussed so much about the how and why not of travel insurance. What about a student who's probably going abroad to study for a year or two, or someone who's on a work visa for 6 months? What kind of insurance do they need? I mean, are they also covered under travel insurance, or is there something special?
No, it is called travel insurance. Under that umbrella, there's specific student travel insurance policy, for example. They need to have a lot of other features because you're actually stationed there, you're studying there, and you have a cost in terms of tuition fees and stuff, which are recurring, more anticipatable costs, and the probability of you actually having an illness could be have a minor illness or a major illness is so much more because you're spending a year, 2 years, 6 months there. So what happens is those insurance policies are separate, and you need to actually look at features in a very different way, unlike a leisure travel. For example, if you're speaking about illness, okay, and if you have had an illness, then you need to actually look at if there is hospitalization more than 7 days. Somebody from your family needs to travel, and that gets covered. Okay, so there are policies which actually cover for the travel cost of the person who's visiting you because you're hospitalized for greater than 7 days. So that's one aspect. So you have different aspects when you look at different situation. In this case, if your sponsor who's actually sponsored your education is no more, and who's going to pay for the tuition fee? Can there be an insurance cover to cover that? Right? Because if you're depending on your parent and he does not have an accumulated corpus but is actually earning to pay for your tuition fee, then you know he needs to continue earning for the next 2 years to be able to pay for the fee. And if in case there's an eventuality on the person whom you're depending upon, you will have to discontinue the course. So that's not viable if you've already put so much money in it and effort in it. So you'll have to have an insurance policy if you're dependent on a person who's actually earning and does not have a ready reckoner corpus for it. So if something happens to you, and if there is an illness, if you're doing a part-time job, which quite a few people actually do to fund their own education, and your parents are actually not sponsoring you, and then if you have 2-3 hours every day you're working, and if there's some kind of injury, and you're actually stopping to earn that, which was actually funding your tuition fee, needs to still get covered, and you can't stop your education because of that. So that needs to get covered if you're self-sponsoring. So you need to cover yourself if you're actually funding it yourself. So there are several aspects. Depending on what kind of insurance you're buying, you need to actually get into the nitty-gritty and try and cover most of the risks which you actually are having.
Yeah, wow. Okay, now let's get to the claims finally. So I've made a few claims on my travel insurance, and for me it was pretty easy. One was cashless and one where the claim came through pretty fast. But a lot of people have told me that they've not had a very good experience. Some of them were missing documents. So A, what are the documents you need to keep handy if you know that you're going to make a claim, and how is the process itself, how easy or difficult?
See, this is where the choice of the right insurer would come into place. You need to see who has the best travel insurance settlement claims. IRDA publishes those for the general insurance companies. Claims and the percentage of claims and the premiums of the guys who actually have a very good claim to settlement ratio would be higher. But it's so much worth paying that 10, 15, 20% extra premium, a premium on the premium, to get yourself a better policy. Now coming to the second part of your question of what kind of documents you need to have. You need to at least have a scanned copy of the policy document which you have bought yourself. That's very important because there are a couple of reference numbers like the client identification number, the toll-free numbers for different countries could be different. So those need to be handy. Informing them prior if you're actually inpatient and outpatient kind of claim. If it's inpatient, you need to actually inform them prior so that you can keep the bills and actually make the claim. Keeping your boarding passes till the day you come back and you get back your baggage and you've reached home safely is very important to actually have the onward and the return journey boarding passes. Those actually become quite a deterrent to prove that you've traveled. And then you need to actually take a letter from the airline saying that you've traveled, which is a task in itself. So you always have the boarding passes which are stamped security, at least if it's immigration in India. So these are the few documents you need to keep handy till you get back home and the travel insurance becomes redundant.
Alright, so I guess now anyone who's heard this is equipped to travel and travel safely. Feroze, thanks very much for joining in and for advising all our viewers. So now that you know what to look out for, let's also tell you what many of the terms mean. And with that, it's time to take a quick break. Still ahead, it's our tip of the week.